Hello folks, today is Friday, April 1st, 2022. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. And yes, it is April Fool's. Don't worry, this is a no fun zone. We're going to talk about real stuff, not that fake crap online that is supposed to be funny, but at this point, April Fool's is not funny. Just this morning, I opened up my phone and what happened? I thought God of War Ragnarok was delayed. Hideo Kojima is retiring, all kinds of weird fake stuff, E3 being canceled. Actually, no, sorry, that one's real. E3 this year is officially canceled. Now, you probably remember they were planning a physical event earlier in the year, and they announced that that was canceled. But now, their plans for an all-digital event this summer is also not coming to fruition. They have officially canceled it. And coming right off the heels of that, Jeff Keighley announced that the Summer Games Fest is returning, so expect somewhat of a replacement in certain ways. And we've talked about this before in the past with the ups and downs of E3, but the industry is changing. The online access, the fact that everybody watches everything online, publishers, game companies don't want to pay E3 to have an elaborate presence when they can just put out their own trailer or host their own event. Now, I know that like with the Summer Games Fest and E3, a lot of people talk about it just being glorified advertising, and yeah, totally like what's all this is. But I remember being younger and watching E3. Oh, first I remember reading about E3 in magazines and then watching it on G4 and like taking off work or calling out sick or skipping school to just watch all the presentations and just revel in the new announcements. And hopefully we still continue to get that just from all the companies announcing their own separate things. Oh, hopefully maybe in a consolidated time period so it still feels like a little bit of a video game Christmas. But the ESA, the organization that does put on E3, which I think that organization in and of itself isn't necessarily the best representation of games out there with interests, so to speak, and some leadership stuff behind the scenes, but they did say that E3 will return in 2023. At this point, do you guys think this is going to keep going, or do you think E3 is finally dead in the water? I feel like we've called its demise many times, and it still keeps coming back. Really, I don't care what organization or what it's called or whatever, but I just hope like the vibe and spirit of an E3 every summer can continue, at the very least. But I want to know what you guys think, especially if you're just at home watching. Even for us here, it makes sense not to go anymore and to just cover it from our homes. That's what every YouTuber pretty much does. But as you, someone at home just following the news, what do you think? And one of the other big bits of news this week is that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is delayed. Now, that's actually still, believe it or not the official name of the game, but Breath of the Wild 2, Breath of the Wild sequel, whatever you want to call it, was expected to maybe release by the end of the year, holiday season type game. It is now pushed to spring 2023. Series creator Eiji Aonuma put out a video in typical fashion explaining that they just need more time. And now when you break it down, this Breath of the Wild sequel has been in the works for quite a long time. But if you're an older gamer like myself, this ain't your first rodeo. Zelda games get delayed all the time. Twilight Princess, remember Twilight Princess? Twilight Princess, we waited a while for Twilight Princess. Granted, I don't think any of them really amount to how long we've been waiting for this game, but still. We don't have a lot of other details other than a couple of cool images hinting at more stuff, and people are still trying to cobble together what the game is about, what the story is. I'm very much in that conspiracy theory, like Charlie meme with this, but we don't have time for that. The video did allude to the fact that Hyrule is going to be on land again, but also in the sky, and also that the area is going to be expanded, so expect it not to just be Breath of the Wild map again. That's really it. I wish we got a little bit more info, a little bit more of a glimpse, but you know, whatever. I'm willing to wait. You know the quote by this point, just make a good game, take your time. This is also, of course, leading to a lot of speculation. A lot of people are thinking that what if the new Breath of the Wild comes out and they launch the new Nintendo Switch Pro, the 4K thing, the rumor that never dies. We'll see. I just want to play the damn game, but it's going to be a minute. Hey, next up, big thanks to Omaze for sponsoring this video. They're working with the Charlize Theron Africa Outreach Project. Click our link below and enter for your chance to win a 2022 BMW M5 CS. This thing is sick. 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, 627 horsepower, a twin turbo V8, all the bells and whistles you want. Just think, if you won, what would you do with this bad boy? Where would you go? I would probably just use it to pick up pizza, but faster. And with donations supporting the Charlize Theron Africa Outreach Project, it supports a great cause. The project is dedicated to investing in and advancing young people in Southern Africa, specifically by supporting and bolstering community organizations that give folks access to healthcare, health education, life skills, and more resources. All with the end goal of empowering young people and their peers to keep safe and healthy. It's a cool mission, and so is the prize, so it's a win-win. So to potentially win a sweet new 2022 BMW M5 CS and support the Charlize Theron Africa Outreach Project, go to omaze.com/gameranx. Once again, that's omaze.com/gameranx. And thanks again to Omaze for sponsoring our videos. Next up this week, we got a new surprise RPG, really an open world JRPG announcement. A new One Piece game to celebrate its 25th anniversary. It's called One Piece Odyssey, and we have a trailer, and the original series creator is coming up with concepts, new character, and monsters designs for it. There's some good involvement there. And this brief trailer that gives us little snippets of gameplay looks pretty cool. Now, this is notable because One Piece World Seeker, which was like an action-adventure One Piece game, wasn't super hot. We did a before you buy on it. I didn't technically play it. I oversaw that video. This one, at least at the earliest, just the glimpses of the battles, the monster designs, everything, just the more traditional JRPG structure, makes me hopeful. It is coming in 2022, and like I said, the track record's all over the place, so we don't know for sure yet, but at least it's something to look forward to. You're either watching this going, I'm interested, or you're going, Jake, what is anime? But in other news, earlier this week, we got the announcement of the new revamped PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now are kind of becoming a singular product with different pricing tiers. Some would argue to really compete with Xbox Game Pass. It is going to be a 3-tiered thing, with the highest tier being like $18 a month US. You're going to get access to a bunch of different games, and on the higher tier, you get access to older games like PS3 games, PS2 games, PS1 games. It's going to have hundreds of games. We don't have an exact lineup yet, but this news has already been talked about to death a little bit. I will link our full video breaking it down in the description. Interestingly enough, the strategy is different. PlayStation approaches things very different than Microsoft. The way I see it here, they're not trying to change the game and disrupt everything and make this powerhouse service. They're just kind of looking to get additional money from the player base, but also just provide a little bit of an additional something, because specifically, they are not putting their games day one on the service. So like when God of War Ragnarok drops, it's not going to be on the service day one. Head of PlayStation Jim Ryan went on record saying like, hey, we're keeping in that traditional model where we invest money, a game is made, the game comes out, it sells, we invest that, we make another game. This is really just kind of an additional thing, and I think if you only have PlayStation, it could be interesting. But reactions are kind of mixed all over the place. There's a lot to talk about for this. Some people think it's too expensive. Some people think it's not as good as Game Pass. Other people are having more existential questions as we realize this all-digital future and the fact that like ownership is going away with all of this type of thing. The way I look at it is that still, the way this service works out, I'm still just going to have to pay money to stream Metal Gear Solid 4, and that sucks. But that's where my priorities are. I'm a simple man. PlayStation Plus and the whole thing. What? That's a real concern.
No, it is. You're
PlayStation Now is like the only way to play it.
No, you're right.
I'm not digging out my PS3. We have our priorities here. But like I said, everybody's all over this service. I think if you just have a PlayStation, it's somewhat interesting. If you bounce around platforms, maybe not, but let me know what you guys think. Next up, we got some trailers and stuff to link for you. Weird West is releasing this week. This is like a top-down immersive sim from some of the people behind Arcane, the developers behind Dishonored and the like. It's being received generally pretty positively. I'm going to try and find time to get into it. I still want to get into Kirby, but that's just me. But also a cool announcement this week, we're going to link all of it down in the description below, is the follow-up to Hyper Light Drifter. It's Hyper Light Breaker, and they're going fully 3D this time. We got an announcement trailer, some cool screenshots, hoverboard confirmed. I'm buying it. Also, worth highlighting, I linked below, G4 hosted a developer interview about the game if you're looking for some information, some insights and thought processes behind it. It is definitely a good interview. worth checking out. All this stuff is linked down in the description. Oh, and one other thing I also wanted to highlight. This is for if you're like a weird nerd like me and you like survival horror games. Two of the heavyweight giants sat down with one another. So Keiichiro Toyama, the original creator behind Silent Hill, has a new development studio that we have talked about before, and him with his studio, he did a sit-down talk with Shinji Mikami, the creator of Resident Evil and a lot of survival horror stuff. It's a good conversation. It is definitely worth checking out if you're into that type of stuff. I certainly am. Just good stuff worth sharing. Now, in other news, is there a light at the end of the tunnel for PC gaming and GPU prices? Possibly. So NVIDIA officially now is rolling out the RTX 3090 Ti for $2,000 US, but along with that, ASUS put out a statement, and yes, that is actually how you say it, ASUS. ASUS said it's reducing their MSRP aggressively for graphics cards across all SKUs. So it's almost like they're taking a little bit of a bet here, trying to take a little bit of hit to reduce costs in the hopes that maybe others follow suit, or they'll just get a leg up on things and sell more units. Hopefully that shifts things a little bit because it's still really hard out there. I built a PC for a family member not too long ago and the prices were killer. Not even for a top-end GPU card. So hopefully things start to look up for PC gamers. I know analysts have talked about this going on for years, but that's just a little update worth sharing. Oh, and one last thing I wanted to talk about. We talk about this a lot. We cover television and movie adaptations of video games. Now, no, I haven't seen the Halo show yet. I've heard some things. I'll get to that. But we got a snippet at the end of the last week, thanks to like the reveal event for the Moon Knight show, and Oscar Isaac, who is apparently slated to actually legitimately play Solid Snake in a movie, went on record with an interviewer about the fact that it still seems like it's a freaking ways off. He said, we're searching for the story. Whatever that means. He like literally made a joke like, we're like Solid Snake, we're sneaking around, we're searching for the story. What does that mean? There has been a script out there. I still just think that maybe they're trying to figure out how to make such a wild and crazy story into a movie. Good luck, Godspeed. Will we ever see that movie? I don't know. Do I want to see it? I don't know. But hey, that's where we're at this week. Video games. Most importantly, let's talk in the comments. We want to hear from you guys. Things get a little crazy. The thing I want to hear the most from you guys is when we do that pinned comment asking you guys what you're playing this weekend. It helps for our research. It's good to know. It's good to gauge what you guys are into. So definitely hit that. But of course, if you ever want to yell at me directly, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram and my other YouTube channel, Jake Baldino. Thank you guys for being here. If you like what we do, we give you the news every Friday forever. We've done it for years. We've never missed. All you gotta do is click the like button. We would genuinely appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you to all 7 million of you for being here. Look out for gameranx spam accounts. We put out a note. There's a lot of fake accounts, fake impersonating accounts out there. We're not currently doing any giveaways. If you get contacted by something that looks like gameranx, it ain't us. Don't get scammed. Be safe. Read. But that's it, really. Hope you guys have a lovely weekend. Thank you for swinging by here. I'm Jake Baldino. Pizza's on me.